Hi, I'm Father Joseph Mary, and welcome back to A Simple Word, where we reflect on the gospel for the coming Sunday. George Orwell's novel 1984 was written in the aftermath of World War II. Hitler had been defeated, but the Soviet Union was on the rise, and Orwell imagines a world under the complete domination of an authoritarian regime. In this world, Big Brother controls everything: where people live, what they do, where they work, what they say, even how they think. The central character in Orwell's book is a man named Winston, who works at the Ministry of Truth, rewriting history so that it fits with Big Brother's view of the world. But Winston despises his job and the regime that makes him do it. So he begins rebelling against Big Brother in small but deliberate acts of defiance. He finds an alcove in his house where the cameras of Big Brother can't see him. He begins to question the ways of the world and the regime. As each small act of rebellion occurs, the likelihood Winston will be caught increases. The tension rises until that fateful moment when Winston's resistance is exposed. He's sent to a prison to be rehabilitated, broken down physically and emotionally, and turned once more into a mindless drone. His interrogator is a man named O'Brien. And O'Brien wants to convince Winston that resistance is futile, that the regime will never be defeated, that the present will stretch on unending into the future. And at one point, O'Brien says to Winston, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stomping on a human face forever. The future never more than a miserable repeat of the past. In today's gospel, the apostles are locked in the upper room, hunkering down behind bolted doors and shuttered windows. The hearts of the apostles, they're locked away behind walls of fear, filled with sadness and shame, regret, and the terrible pain of remembering. The sin of Adam sown in the garden, the hamartia of division sown in the soil of Eden, has spread like a cancer to divide all men, to flower in a universal suffering and separation, even to consume their Christ on the cross. In the end, the horrible power of sin and division had proven too much, even for their hope for Messiah. Death was just too strong. And suddenly, he's standing among them. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Except, that's not exactly an accurate translation, because he didn't say peace be with you. He said shalom. Shalom. In the midst of their darkening division, into their divided hearts, Jesus proclaims shalom. Shalom doesn't mean peace the way we think of peace. Shalom means wholeness, completeness, unity. It's as if Jesus is asking them, why are you sitting here trembling? Why does the divisive power of sin hold sway over your hearts? Shalom, look and see. Sin has no power over me. Death couldn't hold me. Look and see. I'm no ghost. I'm flesh and blood. I can eat and drink. I am the resurrection. I am what is beyond all sin and suffering. Shalom. I am what all of you will become. Untouchable by sin, unlimited in glory, forever beyond the grasp of suffering and pain. I am the new Adam, and I am what Adam was destined from eternity to become. Don't you understand? From the old Adam flowed a cancerous division, but from the new Adam flows an unbreakable unity in eternal glory. Were you surprised by the cross? It was there all along. All of history was preparing for it. The cross, the very consequence of your sin and division. I have made the door to divine and human unity. Then Jesus turns his attention to the twin, Thomas. Where was Thomas a week earlier when Jesus had first appeared? He was nowhere to be found. Whether it was fear or grief, he had isolated himself from the community of believers. Wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am in the midst of you. And so he had missed the risen Christ. Now, history has saddled Thomas with the adverse adjective doubter. But who would we have really fared any better? Jesus had been rejected by his own people, beaten nearly to death, nailed to a tree for 6 merciless hours, and died in agonizing pain. The bloody semblance of a human corpse had been wrapped in cloth and laid in a tomb. Like Thomas, our rational, need to see and believe minds would scream, "Nobody comes back from that. I won't believe that. There is no power to undo or overcome that massacre." We do this all the time in the face of our own suffering, the inexplicable tragedies in our own families and in our world, and our repeated defeats to the power of sin. We scream with unbelief. It's impossible. Nothing good can come from this. And like Thomas, we're wrong. Like Thomas, Jesus stands in front of our lives today and he invites, "Put your finger here and do not be unbelieving, but believe." Today, this gospel is for our lives. Today, we're reminded of the reason for our hope. And you are witnesses to these things. In Greek, you are his martyrs. You are the ones who have sat and ate with him. You're the ones who've looked upon and touched him. You're the ones who've heard his voice. We are his living witnesses. And we're sent out. Today we're sent out. We're sent out into a world which proclaims an anti-gospel of despair. We're sent out into a broken, wounded, divided world. We're sent out against the power of darkness that wants to crush us with the image of a boot stomping on a human face forever. And we cry, no. Into every situation without hope, we cry no. Because there is a hope beyond the power of men. Into every struggle with weakness and sin, we cry no. Because there is a strength and a mercy beyond our comprehension. Into the very face of death, we laugh our no. Because we are united to a life that has conquered and destroyed death forever. Today, Jesus sends you out with the gospel cry of joy. Alleluia. Today, Jesus sends you out to your families, to your schools, to your workplaces, among your friends and strangers, into the streets. Jesus sends you out as bearers of an evangelium which makes hell tremble with fear. We are his witnesses to these things. We must bear the good news. We mustn't fail in the task. Because we're his apostles. We're his disciples. We are his living martyrs. And so let's remember the words of St. Francis of Assisi, spoken as death was approaching. "Arise, my brothers, and let us begin. For up to now, we have done nothing." I'm Father Joseph Mary, and thanks for listening to A Simple Word. If you found this reflection helpful, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.